Start tonight with breaking news that the 73-year-old British man who died on a flight after severe turbulence has been named as Jeff Kitchen. Dozens more were injured in the incident, with passengers describing people being launched into the overhead lockers. Mr. Kitchen, from Thornbury near Bristol, was on a 6-week holiday with his wife to Singapore, Indonesia and Australia. In a post on Facebook, Thornbury Musical Theatre Group said, "It is with a heavy heart that we learn of the devastating news of the passing of our esteemed colleague and friend." Well, the Boeing 777 plane was en route from London's Heathrow Airport to Singapore when it hit sudden extreme turbulence and the pilot declared a medical emergency on board. The aircraft was diverted to Bangkok Airport, which had activated its emergency plan to provide the 211 passengers and 18 crew with medical assistance on arrival. Well, coming up, we'll track what happened and why it could happen more often. But first, our Asia correspondent Cordelia Lynch reports from Bangkok.
Panels ripped from the ceiling, debris scattered across the floor, and a cabin battered by a dramatic ordeal for all on board. This is the aftermath of flight SQ321, where everyone, including the crew, wrestled to respond to sudden and extreme turbulence in a region with heavy tropical thunderstorms. Flight data shows the aircraft then dropped 6,000 feet in around 3 minutes. Thai authorities say a 73-year-old British man died of a suspected heart attack.
Maybe he's have a heart attack on plane or not, but after the doctor have to investigate his body again. And he's come with his wife. So his wife is go to the hospital at the time.
He's been named as Jeffrey Kitchen from Thornbury near Bristol. A neighbour told Sky News he and his wife were going on a big dream holiday to Singapore, Indonesia and Australia. 7 other people remain in a critical condition. Those who survived seem stunned by what they saw. Among them, 47 Brits.
I'm in a lot of pain, and it was quite scary, but yeah, I don't think I'll be flying again for a while.
Was there a lot of kind of shock and loud noises on board?
Yeah, look, one huge loud noise. Things were coming through the ceiling, water everywhere, people crying. Yeah, it wasn't a fun end to the journey. No.
After 11 hours flying from London to Singapore, the flight had to make an emergency landing in Bangkok. Many people describe a huge jolt with no warning, sparking instant chaos. They say a lot of people hit their heads, unable to get their seatbelts back on in time. Singapore Airlines is regarded highly in the industry, and this is a relatively rare incident, but it is one that may well strike terror in many. Cordelia Lynch, Sky News, Bangkok, Thailand.
Well, the jolt described by the passengers on board was caused by turbulence. Sky News has analysed the data to see what happened and whether incidents like this could become more frequent. Here's Alice Porter.
Sometimes it just gives you a jolt, but other times it can be fatal. Turbulence is when an airplane hits a strong wind current, which is what happened on flight SQ321. Data shows the plane was travelling at a consistent 37,000 feet. Then the plane's altitude, which is how high it was flying, suddenly increased by 270 feet. A minute later, it was back to 37,000 feet. Singapore Airlines said the plane had encountered sudden extreme turbulence over the Myanmar Irrawaddy Basin.
The geographical location is in an area renowned amongst pilots and, I dare say, passengers. for turbulence, an area of the atmosphere called the Intertropical Convergence Zone, where vigorous convective activity happens year-round. It kind of moves up and down with the seasons. But despite abundant caution, occasionally, there's turbulence ahead which can't be identified.
While fatalities from turbulence may be rare, scientists say climate change is making it worse. The meteorological department at the University of Reading says in some parts of the world, turbulence has increased by more than 50%.
When we talk about global warming, we talk about global tropospheric warming. So the troposphere itself is getting a lot hotter because we're keeping in all these greenhouse gases that should have been mixed up by turbulence into the stratosphere. So we're keeping all the heat in. This is becoming much hotter. The stratosphere then becomes much cooler. So we're having a vertical temperature gradient strengthening as we keep in this heat as year and year goes by, and we get hotter and hotter. The stratosphere gets cooler and cooler, and the jet stream becomes faster and faster because of this temperature difference. And because of that, you're going to have more turbulence and more encounters of clear turbulence in the future. If we continue at the rate that we're going, emitting so many carbon dioxide, such a huge amount, we are likely going to warm the troposphere more and more, further strengthen this temperature gradient and leading to a worrying amount of turbulence in the atmosphere. However, encountering severe turbulence is very rare. It's something like 0.1% in the atmosphere. So the main impact on day-to-day people will just be travel times and possibly more waiting times in the future.
There's no evidence that the turbulence experienced by those on flight SQ321 was definitely caused by climate change, but it's a problem which could impact the way we fly in future.
And Alice Porter joins me now in the studio. So Alice, what more do we know about this British man who died on that flight?
It's really tragic, isn't it? This was a 73-year-old Jeff Kitchen, and it's understood he was on a 6-week holiday with his wife. It was meant to be a trip of a lifetime, and they were going to be going to Singapore, Indonesia and Australia. Sky News spoke to one of their neighbours who said they'd been hugely looking forward to going on this enormous trip. It's understood they've got 2 children, and also what we do know about Jeff Kitchen is that he was very involved in his local amateur dramatic group, and they've given quite a moving statement about Jeff Kitchen. It's from Thornbury Musical Theatre Group. They say, "It is with a heavy heart that we learn of the devastating news of the passing of our esteemed colleague and friend Jeff Kitchen in the recent Singapore Air incident. Jeff was always a gentleman with the utmost honesty and integrity, and always did what was right for the group. His commitment to the Thornbury Musical Theatre Group was unquestionable, and he has served the group and the local community of Thornbury for over 35 years, holding various offices within the group, including chairman, treasurer, and most recently secretary. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his wife and the family at this difficult time, and we ask that you respect their privacy." So that was a very moving statement there about Jeff Kitchen, who's the British man who's been named as the man who was on this flight that was going from Heathrow to Singapore, where sadly it got into this turbulence, very, very bad turbulence around above in Myanmar, and then had that emergency landing in Bangkok. And other people, unfortunately, were also injured, as we were hearing in that earlier report.
Very sad news. Alice Porter, thank you.
Just keep the families in prayer, and just pray for quick recovery for those who are in critical condition at the hospital. And I hope you have a wonderful evening, morning, wherever you're journeying from. I thank God that a lot of the people there in the plane were okay. So that is so great, such a good news to hear that, those that are really in critical condition, with 7 of them, there's the lost one, but it could have been worse, so thank God for this. So this is Word for Word Talk. If you have not subscribed to our channel, do please subscribe, like, share, click the notification button so when we're on, it will be notified. Thank you for stopping by to watch. Once again, don't forget to keep them in prayer. And if you're going through anything, know that the Lord Jesus Christ cares and loves you. See you next time. Bye-bye.